Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we've been doing for the past umpteen years, we're going to start off this program with a salute to the United States of America. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask everyone at this time to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
Of the
Let them know it. The United States Army Barbershop Quartet performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. The host of the Barbershop Quartet Convention gave us the Pledge of Allegiance, and we greatly appreciate it. We want to pay special tribute to our men and women of the armed forces, wherever they might be. We thank them for their service. We thank all of our armed forces throughout the world, wherever you might be as well. All of our allies, thank you for your service, and may you return home safely to your families after your tours of duty end. God bless you for your service, and thank you so much for what you do for this country. I want to say that especially right now. There are a lot of things happening in our world that honestly I refuse to put up with. As many of you know. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't like what is going on. I don't think anybody does. It's all politics. It's all politics. We're going to touch on some of that later tonight. The first thing I want to do, however, is thank some people for cards and letters that you sent me. I really, really do appreciate it. Polly Purebred. Polly Purebred, excuse me for a second, I had to pick something up off the floor, I dropped it. Polly Purebred, sweet Polly Purebred, sent us a beautiful card. It says, peace and joy. Peace and joy of the Christmas season. It says here, dear Ron and Carol, sending you warm wishes for a wonderful holiday season. God bless you both. Thank you so much, Polly. We really appreciate that. She also sent something that's going up on our refrigerator. It says, faith can move mountains. Matthew 12:26. Faith, Matthew, actually wasn't Matthew 12:26. Matthew 12:18. Faith can move mountains. That is one of my ideas that I have lived my life by. Faith can move mountains. I really do appreciate that. So that's going to go up on our refrigerator after this broadcast tonight. I also want to thank one of our dear friends from over here, just over the hills from us. This is Sister Brown over in Lenoir, North Carolina. I want to show you this. I thought this is kind of cute. Okay, Jingle Bell Flock. Jingle Bell Flock. Sister Brown over in Lenoir said, health, prosperity, peace, love, and appreciation. Thank you, Ron. Prayers and blessings in his name. It's a wonderful thing. Inside it says, wishing your flock joy and happiness throughout the year. Merry Christmas, Sister Brown. Thank you so much for that. She also sent us a donation, which we greatly, greatly appreciate. Thank you so much. That helps keep this show on the air. Just like we got a donation from Rob52 last night. We greatly appreciate that too. We also got a donation from, well, another donation from our dear friend Laura Marie and her husband John from over in Oregon. A beautiful LDS temple over in Portland, Oregon. It's an absolutely gorgeous building. There is Laura and her husband John. We appreciate your donation. We appreciate this beautiful card. Inside the card it says, dear Ron and Carol, thank you for all you do in sharing the gospel and helping people get prepared. With love, John and Laura Marie. Beautiful, beautiful card. Thank you so much for that, John and Laura. You guys are awesome. I've known Laura for so many wonderful years, it's not funny. I appreciate all of those and more. God bless all of you who send us donations, all of you who may send us cards and letters. We do appreciate that. We don't get enough cards and letters, so I'm not checking the post office except maybe once a week. If you do send something in the mail, please let me know so I can expect to see it. That way I'll make a special trip to when we think we might see it here in the mail. I really appreciate that. God bless you all for your help and keeping this program on the air. We do appreciate it. One of the first things I want to talk about is earthquakes. Folks, USGS last night didn't show many earthquakes, did they? Over in the Philippines. They didn't show many earthquakes here near Mindanao, Philippines. Mindanao, Philippines had that earthquake last Saturday, nearly a week ago. They pretty much have not been telling anybody what's going on. Folks, let me tell you what's going on. Okay? I've got a good record of what's happening today all around the world. Over in Kazakhstan, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit over there. A very strong earthquake hit in India. A 6.6 magnitude earthquake hit south of Nanortalik, over near Kavaratti, Lakshadweep Island in India. very strong 6.6 magnitude earthquake hit there earlier today. 944 kilometers west-northwest of Kabarate Lakshadweep Island in India. Further north and east on the other side of the world, just south of Nautoluk, Iceland, on the North Mid-Atlantic Fault. And let me show you that. We'll come back here to these earthquakes here in the Philippines. I want to show you this here in Iceland. Okay? Look at this, guys. There's actually 3 large earthquakes. 3 large earthquakes here. Okay? USGS on their map shows us 1. This is south of Iceland on the North Mid-Atlantic Fault. Okay? 5.03, 5.0, and 5.1 over here on the North Mid-Atlantic Fault south of Iceland. Okay? 469 miles south of Iceland. Okay? That's just one of many that have hit here today. We also have these other 3 earthquakes here that are 3s. 3.4, 3.6 earthquakes. Okay? That's what's hit here. Let's go over to Chile. I want to show you what happened in Chile today. Right here. Look at all the earthquakes in Chile and over in Peru. Okay? 10 earthquakes over in northern Chile. 3s and 4s. 3.0, 3.4, 3.7, and a bunch of 4s over in North Chile. Okay? Further south there, all of these earthquakes are 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, and 3.7 earthquakes in Chile. Okay? There's over 20 earthquakes between Chile and Peru. Those 2 earthquakes in Peru are 4s. Moderate 4.0, 4.4 earthquakes. And one other over in Colombia today. A 4.5 along the coastline in northern Colombia today. Okay? USGS shows us 3 earthquakes in Chile. That's all they show. That's it. Okay? Now, I want to go over to the South Pacific next. Down in the South Pacific, let's see here. Oh, let's see if we can bring it all up here. Okay, these are over in New Zealand. Okay, look at all these earthquakes in New Zealand. This one over on the north part of the South Island. This is 21 miles north-northeast of Amberley, New Zealand. Amberley, New Zealand. This is south of Christchurch, New Zealand. Okay? That's what happened there. Look at all the others north of there. On the North Island and over in the Catcher's Mitt, the Bay of, oh gosh, what's it called? Bay of Plenty. Over in the Bay of Plenty. We refer to it as the Catcher's Mitt. These are all 2s and 3s here. All of these are 2s and 3s. Now, I want to take you over to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea area. Okay? This is different. This is a little bit different. Okay? What are we showing here? Okay? Over in Japan, those 2 earthquakes in southern Japan. These are 4.6 and 4.4 earthquakes. The 2 over in northern Japan are 3.6 and 3.4. These earthquakes over here. Okay, you see 20 plus over in the Philippines. I'm going to go back to there in just a minute. 20 plus earthquakes in the Philippines. Look at what's happening in Indonesia. USGS only shows a handful of earthquakes in Indonesia. In other words, USGS is lying to us. If the EMSC can show all these earthquakes literally around the world, so can USGS. Okay? It's uncalled for what they do. Now, over in New Caledonia, which is east of here, in New Caledonia, we had a 5.3 earthquake. A 5.3 earthquake. Over in east of there in Pangai, Tonga, we had a 5.3 there, and a 5.0 over in Ohuna, Tonga. We also in Papua New Guinea, okay? And I miss showing you this because I'm showing you Indonesia here. Just east of here in Papua New Guinea, we had a 5.5 earthquake. Just east of there in Vanuatu, a 5.6 earthquake. The Solomon Islands, a 5.8 last night. The Philippines, let's go back here to the Philippines. Let me show you that map in the Philippines. Look at all these earthquakes here in the Philippines. Okay? This is wild. This is wild. Okay? We had 4 5.0 earthquakes. 4 5.0 large earthquakes over in the Philippines. We had 3 4.6 earthquakes here. We had 37 3.0 to 4.6 magnitude earthquakes. Okay? On that other map it said 20 plus. Folks, there were 41 earthquakes here off the coast, the northeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines. And yet USGS showed us 5. 40 earthquakes here. Now, as I said before, and I will continue saying this, I will continue showing earthquakes in this region because we are going to have aftershocks of last Saturday's quake for years. For years. We've seen it happen over in Puerto Rico. We've seen it happen in Turkey. We've seen it happen in the Antarctic. Remember that? We told you about that about 3 years ago. A 9.0 earthquake there 3 years ago. And there were aftershocks for 2 years after that. There was a 6.3 over in northwestern Alaska. That happened when we first got on the air in 2019. For 3 years, for 3 full years, we had aftershocks from that 6.3 in northwestern Alaska. We're going to have earthquakes here for a very long time. This was a 9.0 earthquake. Yet USGS is only showing 5 earthquakes over here today. That's unheard of. That's literally unheard of. Let me show you some other earthquakes around the world yet before we finish talking about earthquakes here. Okay? I want to show you over in Europe now. Well, I didn't show you over in India here. Look at that. A 2.50. These are all 2s here. Just southeast of India, we had that 5.8 yesterday in the islands just outside of the mainland India, a 5.8. Okay? That's going to cause aftershocks for some time as well. Okay? We need to be ready for it. Okay? This is not going to stop. This really is not going to stop. Sorry about that. I didn't have it low enough here for you guys to see it. It's not going to stop. It really isn't. Let's go over to, let's see here, Western Europe. Look at this. I want to show you this because this tells a huge story. The Strait of Gibraltar here, over in the Azore Islands. This is a 2.0 earthquake. Over here to the northeast in France, these are also 2.2 earthquakes, all over France. All the way up north to the top left corner here, that's Poland. It's a 2.2 earthquake in Poland. Those two earthquakes over in northern Italy, those are also 2.0 earthquakes. Okay? USGS shows us 0. Nada, zilch, nothing. That's sad. It's very sad that this agency would have us believe that nothing happens. Let's go east to Greece. Okay? At least they're showing 5 earthquakes here. 4 over on mainland Greece. Those are also 2.0, 2.1 earthquakes. But over here in the Dokanese Islands, I have this one mapped out here. It's also a 2.0. A 2.0 here. Okay? Earthquakes here in Greece. And I honestly believe that the Europeans are not telling us everything either. Because just prior to the USGS cutting off everything in terms of earthquake coverage around the world, the EMSC was showing us about 15 to 25 earthquakes here in Greece on mainland Greece. Now, as you can see, there's only 3 or 4. There's probably a lot more earthquakes here as well, because I think the EMSC is bowing to pressure from the USGS to not show events that are happening around the world. Okay? That's my opinion. And I back it up with facts when I can. That's Greece. Let's go over to Turkey. Okay? Turkey. What are we seeing here? In central Turkey, guys, we're seeing 2.2 magnitude earthquake. Look at all these earthquakes over here at the border area of Turkey and Syria. Every one of these earthquakes are 2.0 to 2.7. This same area, just earlier this year, suffered a 9.0 earthquake. A 9.0 to a 10.0 earthquake. All of the helioplots were blacked out. This was a very, very major earthquake here in the Turkey-Syria area. It killed 5,000 people and at least another 5,000 people that were injured, and billions of dollars in infrastructure and buildings damaged or destroyed. Lives destroyed, injured, and fatalities. Infrastructure destroyed. Humanitarian agencies are still bringing in food and other supplies for the Turkish and Syrian people. It's bad. It's very bad. USGS shows none. Not one earthquake do they show here. That's why I say it's a sad state of affairs. It really is. There's no excuse for not being honest about what's going on. There's not one single excuse at all. Period. As some of you know, I don't tolerate crap. I never did in my life, and I won't tolerate it now. The agencies don't want to tell us the truth. They're going to suffer for it, because I am going to tell you the truth. Period. Something else I want to talk about. About a week ago, we had a huge plane that went down off the coast of Japan. It killed 8 crew members. 8 crew members. Today, the U.S. military is grounding the United States' entire fleet of CV-22 Osprey aircraft. These are vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. As you can see, the propellers on this are hovering above the wings. The wings twist, looking like almost a double helicopter rotor. These engines twist and look and land and take off like a helicopter, but they can fly like any other plane as well. The U.S. military had one of them that went down about a week ago. They're downing this aircraft right now. It's not going to take off until the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marine Corps finish a complete investigation as to why that aircraft crashed. Okay? It crashed off the coast of Japan's Yakushima Island that left 8 airmen dead. All variants of the Osprey aircraft flown by the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Navy have been grounded as part of the operational stand-down. Lieutenant General Tony Barnfield, the commander of the Air Force Special Operations Command, AFSOC, said in a statement 2 days ago that he had directed an immediate operational shutdown of the Air Force's Osprey fleet until an investigation of the incident has been concluded. Meanwhile, Naval Air Systems Command, NAVAIR, also said on December 6th that it was grounding the Navy and Marine Corps V-22s out of an abundance of caution as the crash is under review. The stand-down will provide time and space for a thorough investigation to determine the causal factors and recommendations to ensure that the Air Force CV-22 fleet returns to flight operations. Lieutenant General Bernfin said this: "The underlying cause of the crash in Japan is still unknown at this time. However, it's been suggested that a preliminary investigation showed that a potential material failure is at fault." General Bernfin provided no additional information about the incident or when the Osprey fleet might return to service. That's as much as he was going to tell us. Okay? So the Osprey flight, the entire Osprey aircraft regimen, has been grounded until further notice. Okay? Now, not that long ago, I think maybe a year and a half ago, over in the Imperial Valley, east of Holtville, there was another crash out there in the Imperial Valley in the mountains just outside of Yuma. The aircraft belonged to the Yuma flight wing of the CV-22 Osprey aircraft. It went down with 6 crew members aboard. At that point in time, the military Marine contingent grounded their aircraft fleet until they came to a conclusion on why that aircraft went down. And it wasn't very high over the ground either. It was a fairly low flight when it crashed. So this time, this is it. Okay? They're not going to put it back up in the air until further notice. And we may come back on the air to tell you about it. Okay? Something else that happened today that the Biden administration did not want to see. Hunter Biden was indicted on 9 more counts of tax evasion, as well as his illegal possession of a gun. Hunter Biden here may go to jail. He may go to jail. 17 years in prison he faces if found convicted of this crime. 17 years in jail. But it's not just Hunter Biden that's under a lot of scrutiny right now. Mr. Joe Biden is also under scrutiny, this time over Israel. The Biden administration's steadfast support of Israel in its war against Hamas in Gaza has cost him tremendous political capital internationally. Biden himself, I heard yesterday, has withdrawn his support for Israel. Biden has. The United States has not given up on Israel, but the United States president has, allegedly. Okay? Now, this has cost Biden tremendously in terms of political capital. He's being laughed at around the world. This according to Ian Bremmer, the CEO and founder of the Eurasia Group. Washington's stated unconditional backing of Israel, politically, financially, and militarily, has been a long-standing pillar of its Middle East foreign policy. When Israel suffered a brutal terrorist attack on October 7th by the Palestinian militant group Hamas that killed over 1,200 people and took more than 240 people hostage, including children, Biden flew to Israel in a show of solidarity, pledging billions of dollars in military support. The U.S. already provides Israel some $3.1 billion annually in military aid, making it the largest recipient of American foreign aid and influence in the world. But in the remaining ensuing days and weeks, the enormous and disproportionate scale of Palestinian deaths in Gaza caused by Palestinian airstrikes and ground offensive operations has raised anger in many parts of the world at both Israel and Biden, particularly in the global south. Protests in major cities, including all across Europe and the United States, in support of Palestinians demanding a ceasefire, have made global headlines. Last week, during the Christmas tree lighting operations in New York and Washington, Palestinians protested against the government. When they were trying to light the nationwide Christmas tree in Washington, Palestinian anti-American, anti-Israel protesters protested in Washington. They left pro-Palestinian stickers all over our national monuments and on the fence surrounding the White House. Some protesters tried to knock down a fence to try to gain access to the White House. They were not successful. During multiple United Nations General Assembly votes calling for ceasefires, Israel and the United States were often the only countries or among a very small minority that were voting against a ceasefire. Biden is probably an isolated person on the global stage, given how close he is to Israel, the closest ally of the United States, on this issue, as the Russians were when they first invaded Ukraine, which is a shocking thing to say. Bremmer, the high-profile geopolitical commentator, said, it just shows how challenging this war continuing is. It's going to be for U.S. foreign policy. Internationally, numerous leaders and human rights organizations have condemned the United States for its continued support of Israel. Biden and other members of his administration, including Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, have said that far too many Palestinians have died and that the way Israel defends itself matters. They have helped broker hostage for prisoner swaps during a frail week-long truce and urged the allowance of more aid into Gaza. But The Biden administration officials hold to the position that Israel has the right to defend itself, which critics see as continuing to give Israel carte blanche in its military operations. A former Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister, Nabil Fahmy, said last month that the U.S. is losing a tremendous amount of credibility in the Arab world. The U.S. needs to take a serious look at its role. If it wants to support a stable world or a stable world order based on the rule of law, it has to demand that everybody respect international law, whether friend or foe. Fahmy, who served as minister between 2013 to 2014, was talking in an interview. On October 7th, more than 16,200 people have been killed in the Gaza Strip, including more than 10,000 women and children, according to Hamas-run health authorities there. 10,000 women and children, 16,200 total people killed in Gaza. Israel declared a siege of the already blockaded territory shortly after the Hamas attacks in southern Israel. Israel cut off all oil, all water, all food, and all fuel to the Gaza Strip. Weeks later, first aid trucks were able to enter the Strip, but the provisions that have been made so far are woefully inadequate, according to the United Nations. At home in the United States, this is a kind of no-win situation for President Biden, because he's got a majority of Democrats that are increasingly aligned with the Palestinian position, while the Republicans say he's too soft on Israel. So he's really between a rock and a hard place. Now, I find it really troubling to hear that the Republicans say that Biden is too soft on Israel. I thought, for the most part, that the Conservative Party side of the United States government was pro-Israel. Apparently, I was sadly mistaken. Okay? Now, the Republicans say he's too soft. The Democrats are taking a hard Palestinian line. Now, if this is what it says, he really wants this war to be over. He wants the Ukrainian war to be over. He wants the Israeli-Palestinian war to be over. He wants it out of the headlines because he has lost so much respect from the international community. And of course, that's exactly what's not happening right now. What is happening? What is happening? Let me show you another picture here to give you a good idea of what actually is going on. Let me move this over to the right here. I want to show you something else. Secretary General Gutierrez, he is the Secretary of the UN Secretary General. He has now invoked Article 99 of the UN Charter to secure a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Antony Blinken said it is possible that that could happen now the Secretary General has invoked Article 99. The U.S. tried to broker a ceasefire just about a week ago, but Hamas started attacking again when Israel was trying to bring humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. Hamas opened up with drone attacks and rocket attacks on Israel. That's when Israel opened up and said, okay, you want to play war? We'll play war. But now the UN chief has opened up and invoked Article 99 of the UN Charter. He wants to secure a ceasefire, a lasting ceasefire in Gaza. Will it happen? Who knows? Who knows? In my book, This Is Me. If terrorists are going to continue to attack Israel, Israel does have that right to defend itself. Just as if Russia or some other faction decided to attack the United States, we have the right to defend ourselves. And Israel has that right as well. Now, if Israel tries again to go along with the ceasefire and provide humanitarian aid in the Gaza Strip, I applaud that. I applaud that. But I have a feeling, this is a gut feeling, and it's not just in the Gaza Strip. The war has far-reaching problems. Problems coming from Iran. Over in Yemen, there are Iranian-based fighters in Yemen sending up drones with rockets to attack Israel and to attack forces in Hamas-controlled Palestine. Israel wants to clean out Palestine for good, making sure that Hamas no longer controls it. But that's not all. It's not just Yemen being supported by Iran. Turkey and Syria are also attacking the Gaza Strip and supporting Hamas and Hezbollah out of Lebanon. Like I said, this has far-reaching consequences. I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon. That's my opinion. Okay? Now, we know what's happened. It's well present of what's happened. Okay? Biden has now tried to distance himself from Israel. Even though he showed that picture of them, he and Netanyahu just about a month ago hugging over in Israel when Biden made the trip to Israel. Is Biden totally aware of everything that's going on around him? We don't know. We don't know. Is it his handlers that are making decisions for the White House? Probably. Again, we don't know for sure. Okay? But, as Sleeping Volcano just said in the chat, our justice is in the cesspool. Our justice is in the cesspool. And she is exactly right. Exactly right. It's insane what goes on. We could find ourselves in a war here on our shores. It could very easily happen. President Putin over in Russia doesn't like us. There was a picture of him being escorted on a Russian plane by Russian fighter planes. And the picture of Mr. Putin didn't look like he was too very happy. He looked like he was upset. He's not exactly winning in Ukraine. Political forces, political people believe he really has not committed himself to winning any kind of war in Ukraine. Although the media would have it painted that he and his Russian forces have nearly obliterated Ukraine and its civilian population. If Russia and Putin really wanted to take over Ukraine, they would have done it already. In my opinion, they would have done it already. Yes, they've attacked Kiev. They've attacked Sebastopol and various other places. We saw pictures a while ago, earlier this year, of rockets taking out major buildings, including Ukrainian government buildings. Again, if Russia was serious, they would have already annihilated Ukraine and gone into other countries and taken them back. For a while, it was said that Russia wanted to take back all of the countries that broke away from the mother country. That has not happened. Russia's pulled back its forces. Why? Russia's sent some of its navy over into the out of the Black Sea over into the Mediterranean. They've committed forces over in the Mediterranean now. They also have forces off both of our shores, east and west coast. The United States has aircraft carriers also off of both coasts, protecting our coastlines, as well as the U.S. Coast Guard. We have aircraft military planes literally flying all over the United States, protecting the U.S. We also have military aircraft over other places all over the world, including off the ships in the Mediterranean. Okay? We have two aircraft carriers, two U.S. aircraft carriers over there, the Gerald R. Ford and the, what's it called? I can't even remember the other aircraft carrier that we have over there right now. We have two huge aircraft carriers over there, USS Eisenhower. We also have the British ship, the Her Majesty's ship Elizabeth over there as well, with all of their aircraft carrier task force ships as well. Some of our ships have been attacked, and they have taken up and put the attack off. They have shot down drones and they shot down rockets. They have helped protect Israel as well. They continue doing that. Where are all these rockets and drones coming from? Yemen, Hamas, Lebanon, and Hezbollah, Turkey, and Syria. What is going on? Some people want to call it World War III. Okay? That's really what it looks like. What's going to happen soon? The United States is in the middle of everything. Literally everything. We are a very weak country. A question came up a while back when Biden told the world that we were almost out of ammunition because we had either given or sold our tanks, sold our ammunition, given Ukraine our planes. Why did he say we're almost out of ammunition? Okay? That was the other thing. Then, when it comes over to Hamas attacking Israel and the U.S. ships being attacked, we find out that Hamas was sold munitions from the U.S. coffers. The U.S. gave munitions and equipment to Ukraine. Ukraine sold it on the black market to Hamas. So we started getting attacked with our own weapons and weapons systems. Okay? So the United States is right smack dab in the middle of a huge war. And it remains to be seen what it's going to take to get out of it. There's a lot of political nonsense going on all around the world. And we have our share here in the United States as well. So we shall see in the coming weeks what happens. Now, we have other problems as well. The United States has big, huge financial problems. Our government, after the turn of the year, could end up declaring bankruptcy and the country shutting down, either in January or February this coming year. Could be a government shutdown. We don't know. The Republicans and Democrats have been putting up what they call continuing resolutions to try to keep the government afloat. Moody's, which is a financial watchdog, has lowered the United States credit rating to B. Up until recently, we had AA or AAA credit rating as a country. Moody's has downgraded our credit rating to B for the first time in our history. Okay? Why do you think I'm talking about this? Does anybody have any idea why I'm talking about this? We have been telling everybody how important it is to become prepared, to make sure each one of us can survive whatever happens. We've talked a lot about natural disasters. We talked about earthquakes. We talked about tsunamis. We've talked about hurricanes. We talked about tornadoes. We talked about all kinds of storms. Yes, those happen. Over the past 2.5 years, we've talked about distribution centers being closed down, catching fire, food processing plants catching fire, closing down. A few years ago, during a crisis here in the U.S., packing houses, meat packing houses, slaughterhouses closed down. President Trump sent in the National Guard to reopen those slaughterhouses to keep food on the shelves for people here in the United States. We have not been exporting food to very few countries at all because we have not had it. Still today, there are some stores that are still seeing low quantities of food on the shelves. Some stores have to keep ordering and ordering and ordering. Some stores are backlogged, trying to keep food on the shelves. We shall see what we see in the coming days and weeks. We want to be prepared. I have been talking about preparedness for 4.5 years. This coming April will be 5 years. We've been on the air talking about earthquakes, all other kinds of disasters. We want to make sure people are prepared. That's why we talk about it. Because otherwise, people are going to say, oh, it's not going to affect me. Nothing's happening. That's why we keep it out in the forefront. Fantasy Dog just gave us a $5 super chat. Fantasy Dog, thank you. Thank you so much for your concern. Thank you so much for your donation to the super chat. God bless you for that. Fantasy Dog says, this man is watching out for us. Thank you, Ron. Yes, I'm trying to watch out for everybody. I'm doing my best. But folks, I can't do it by myself. I can't physically help each of you. But I've been giving you suggestions. I've been giving you ideas on what you need to do to help yourselves. We've been asking everybody to get at least a 6-month supply of food and water. A 6-month supply of food and water, whatever you do. Folks, it may take some really big, huge struggles to make sure you have enough food on the shelves in your home. Over the years, I've also been told, Ron, I don't have any place for food storage. Yes, you do. With a little bit of conscience and urgency, anybody can have their own share of food storage. Some people have put food storage underneath in their end tables, or they've made end tables out of food storage. They've gotten plastic buckets, 2 buckets high. Then they put a round piece of plywood on top of that, and also put a fabric oval or round cover over the top of that wooden piece of board and put a lamp on it and called it an end table. The covering over the wood protects anybody from knowing what's under that cover. That's just one way you can disguise your food storage and still have some food storage. I've been told by quite a few people that they put food storage behind their furniture, behind couches and behind chairs in their home, under beds, on top of shelves, underneath their clothing in their closets, as well as in the pantries in their kitchens. There is always some place to put food storage. If you have stairs, maybe you should consider putting food storage under your stairs. I've seen that happen as well. Okay? I'm just giving you all kinds of ideas what you need to do. We've been asking everybody around the world to write an emergency preparedness plan. When an emergency comes, you need to have a plan on how you're going to react to the emergency. Whether it's a wildland fire, a fire in your home, whether it's a flood, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a tornado, whether it's an earthquake, or whatever it might be. You might not be able to stay in your house. What's going to happen then? If you can stay in your house, what are you going to do when you can't leave your house? How are you going to react, and what are you going to do? You need to have a plan. If you can't stay in your house and you have to leave the entire area, where are you going to go? You need to have a plan describing what you're going to do and where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. Write a plan immediately. Write a plan immediately. Make sure you have telephone numbers. Make sure you know where you're going to go. Make sure in your first aid kit that you have first aid supplies, including any prescription drugs that you're going to need to survive whatever happens. That's one. Two, what other supplies are you going to put in your emergency kit? What other things are you going to have? Food? How about some way to cook your food? And some other plate or some other device to hold your food while you're eating? How about having some kind of glassware, plasticware, or metal cups or glasses to hold something to drink? How about that? How about water? It's a fine thing to have food, but how about water? There isn't any person on this earth that can survive more than 3 days without water. You're going to die. You need to have a supply of water. We've been talking over the years about how to store water, how to use water. Okay? Even I and my wife and my kids have one of these. It's a tumbler, but it's also got a filter in it. I put water in here. The filter cleans up my water so it's safe to drink. I punch a button. I raise the spout, and I have fresh, clean water to drink. This is just one way to do it. I have 2 or 3 of these. I also have life straws, filters in a straw, where you can suck out of bad water, and the life straw will clean it up, and it's good for 500 to 5,000 gallons, depending on the straw. Just an idea. Mary Pedersen says fake bookcases. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's always a place to have food storage. Rob 52 says if you have a water heater in your home, that's another place where you can have your fresh water. If there is a problem with the water supply, all you have to do is turn off the heat to your water heater and shut off the valve that supplies water to the water heater, and you have anywhere from 25 to 50 gallons of fresh water right there. Okay? You can also get a great big huge plastic bag. Okay? A water storage bag. You put it in your tub and fill it with water, and all of a sudden you have like 50 to 75 gallons of water sitting in your tub. It's in a plastic bag, so it's clean. It's not in a dirty old tub. But if you have one of those bags to put water in, you can save all kinds of water right there. Okay? And if you have filters, you're in business. Just an idea. Just an idea. Hurricane Heather says you can store non-potable water in milk jugs. If you use milk jugs, please, please promise me you will not use it to drink or use it to cook with food. Don't do it. The milk residue in those jugs could hurt you and hurt you bad. Don't do it. Use it for maybe washing in the very least. And most of it can be used for flushing toilets. That kind of work. I have plenty of non-potable water all over my house. Okay? I've got it. I've got it. Fantasy Dog says why? Everybody knows why. One of these days, you're not going to have the opportunity to have clean water. You're not going to have the opportunity to just go out and buy some food. The grocery stores will go empty. Okay? The grocery stores will be empty. I fully expect that to happen just like happened in World War II. People were standing in bread lines just to buy a loaf of bread. Or in some place, some other small store, just to buy maybe a loaf of bread and a can of soup. If you have food yourself, you're one step ahead of somebody that has nothing. Okay? Now, besides that, if somebody knocks on your door and says, you need to give me your food, we know you're saving food for yourself. You need to share it. You need to give it to us. Folks, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I am kind-hearted. I believe in being like Jesus Christ. I believe in being an example of being trustworthy and loyal and helpful and friendly, courteous and kind, and obedient to the Lord's commandments. Yes, I am. But folks, I have worked hard for me and my family. I'm not just going to give up what I have to somebody else that wanted to just do whatever they wanted to do and then expects me or all of you to give up what you have. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I might share with members of my family that don't have anything. I might share with them, unless they've proven to me that they can't be trusted. Then I'm going to say sorry, and just like the ladies with oil in their pots that weren't ready for the bridegroom, oil in their lamps. 5 had oil and 5 did not. And the 5 that didn't have any asked the maidens with oil to share it. And guess what happened? They said no, because if we have oil like we have and we give some to you, we're not going to have enough for ourselves. And what happened? Those maidens with oil for their lamps went to the bridegroom and knocked on the door. The Lord opened the door to those that were prepared. And when the maidens came back that didn't have oil, they knocked on the door. The door opened for a minute, and the Lord said, sorry, you didn't do what you needed to do. You were not ready for the marriage. And the door was closed. That is exactly what the Lord would do. He's done it once, he'd do it again. That's exactly what I will do. If I have asked everybody to prepare, and someone that I asked to be prepared themselves comes to me and says, sorry, Ron, I didn't listen to you. Will you help me? Sorry. Sorry. It just, folks, it's just like the Lord having asked you to do something and you didn't do it. If the Lord asked you to go help your neighbor that needed help, the Lord asked you to go to one of your friends in your church or in the groups that you belong to. The Lord asked you to go help them, but you didn't. And then you went to the Lord to get some help. What do you think the Lord would say? Where were you when I asked you to help Joanna? Where were you when I asked you to help George or Harry or John? You were too caught up not listening when the Lord spoke to you. The door is closed. The door is closed. Fantasy Dog is here in the chat, says Ron is a great man. I wish he was my neighbor, just saying. Folks, I'm asking all of you to do what you can. If you have family members that are trying, reach out to help them. Help them help themselves. That's what the Lord wants us to do. Okay? Catherine Sigerson over in Canada says, I have cooking oil and motor oil and my beeswax candles and my Bible. Catherine, you're doing a great job. Now, Catherine said she has her scriptures. Don't forget your scriptures. Make sure you have your scriptures with you at all times. If you have to leave your house, take your scriptures with you. You'll find solace in the scriptures. You'll find inspiration and guidance in your scriptures. If you need help, you'll find help in the scriptures. The scriptures have answers for almost any problem or question that might confront you. Make sure you keep your scriptures with you. Okay? Lead by example says, I'm preparing to help people. And that's exactly what all of us are doing. That's why I'm on the air today. I have already explained what's going on around the world. We talked about earthquakes. We've talked about war. We've talked about things that should not have happened. The president's son not paying his taxes, carrying an illegal firearm and lying about how he got it. And he's done all kinds of other nasty, naughty things. He's lying about that. He's covered it up. So is his daddy. I'm sorry, guys. I don't feel sorry for Duncan. I don't feel sorry for Mr. Hunter Biden. I just don't. Hurricane Heather says, I'm the CERT for my complex. CERT is a community emergency response team member. Okay, that's wonderful. If you have CERT in your community, go to your CERT leaders and get yourself trained. Get yourself CERT certified. Behind me on my wall, I have a CERT certification. I would enjoy knowing that each one of you were CERT certified. CERT teaches you a lot of skills that you may need to not just help yourself, but to help other people. Okay? It's a wonderful thing. Don Patoka's here in the chat. He's one of my dearest friends. He's also a mod on this channel. He says, preparation is an insurance plan for possible personal safety issues, providing personal armor for life's eventualities. If you are prepared, you shall not fear. The scriptures teach us that. The scriptures teach us that. That's why we teach from the scriptures. Some time ago, I did not always give devotionals at the end of my program like I do now. I want everybody to understand how well the scriptures can help us. That's why we do devotionals after every program. I want to encourage everybody to stay close to the Lord. Okay? I want everybody to stay close to the Lord and learn to be prepared. The scriptures teach us to be prepared. They do, in every way. Elizabeth is asking, how do you get CERT certification? Call your fire department. Don't call the emergency number, but call your fire department. Call your fire department, call your police department on the non-emergency line. If you live in a good-sized city or town, they may have an emergency manager. Call those organizations, those agencies, and find out if you have an emergency manager, and find out if they teach CERT classes, Community Emergency Response Team classes. Usually it is the fire department that does that. Some emergency managers for cities and towns teach the classes themselves. I have been one of the instructors in Utah. I'm still an instructor here. Okay? I teach all kinds of classes all the time, just like I teach these classes online here. I do it because I love people. I'm trying to get everybody prepared. Blackbird says, being born in a crooked family, I feel sorry for Hunter. I don't feel sorry for him at all. He made his bed, now he has to lie in it. Okay? You can't do the things that he did and just get away with it. Okay? He spent over $1 million on loose women. $1 million paid out to women. He spent millions of dollars on other things he shouldn't have been doing. Okay? It's all out there. All you have to do is go over the internet and find out what he spent the money on. Where did he get the money? From his association with Daddy. Okay? I could go into all kinds of criminal behavior between Daddy, Biden, and Hunter, and even his nieces and nephews that have been involved in the corruptness of the Biden clan. I'm not here to put the Bidens down anymore. They've done a good job themselves. But I don't feel sorry for Hunter at all. Okay? I just don't. As Heather says, everybody's got choices, and that's exactly what he had. Okay? I don't feel sorry for him at all. Sorry. JB Maps is here. I want to say hi to JB. He's a very wonderful man. He's a great supporter of our program. We appreciate JB Maps very much. He says, anyone else having trouble having to resubscribe to this channel? Every time I check my subscription, I am having the same issue with other conservative thinking channels. The other types of subs are being unsubbed. Exactly right. JB, I have even had trouble staying subscribed to my own program. I've been unsubscribed so many times. My last channel here on YouTube was taken down by YouTube. And I expect it will be taken down probably again. I will be going over to Rumble when that happens. Sooner or later, I will be on Rumble anyway. I've talked about doing it and I haven't done it, but I am going to do it. That I promise you. I want to be able to stay on the air and talk like I want to talk without trying to hide anything. I feel like I have to carefully choose my words. I don't want to have to do that anymore. Okay? I want to do what I can do to help all of you. That's what we're doing here. JB Maps says, yes, Don, even twice last Sunday when Ron had 2 shows. Sunday school and then the earthquake one. JB Maps had to resubscribe. YouTube does that. Okay? Right now we have 1,931 subscribers already here right before we came on the show. YouTube unsubscribes people all the time. I bet if you guys all went and checked your subscriptions, I bet some of you aren't subscribed. Please subscribe, and when you do that, also click on that little bell icon right next to your subscription button. Click on that bell icon. When you do that, a drop-down menu of 3 items will show up. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Should is the operative word. Should. I even have a tough time making sure I get notifications. Even I don't get notifications, and I subscribe to a lot of different programs. And I always click on that bell icon, and half the time I get unsubscribed from my own program and other people's as well. Make sure you check your subscriptions. Make sure you stay subscribed to this program. Please do it as soon as possible. You need to hear what we have to say. I'm not bragging. I'm not patting myself on the back. But we believe we have emergency, very important information to impart to all of you and your friends and your families. That's why we're here. That's why we have people here on the Super Chats, helping give us donations to keep this program on the air. It takes money. When I first started this program 4.5 years ago, I didn't understand that it took money to keep it on the air. Broadband. I had to keep a good broadband signal here, okay, for my internet. It takes a good broadband signal to keep this program on the air, and that costs money, okay? Electric bills. My internet and my electric bill has gone out of sight since I've been on the air. I have to keep paying that, as well as all my other bills as well, okay? I appreciate all of you helping to support this program. Rob52 just put our PayPal locations and our Venmo location here so everybody can find us to help support this program. Please do that. I'm not begging you, but I'm asking you to help support this program. Okay, I love you. I want to stay on the air for as long as I can. But folks, we need your help as well. I appreciate any and all of you helping do what you can. Sister Brown over in Lenore, North Carolina, which is just about 20 miles northeast of here. She sent us support. Laura Marie and her husband John sent us support as well. I greatly, lovingly accept that. We appreciate it. Fantasy Dog just gave us another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Fantasy Dog. We appreciate it. He says, I believe Ron channel y'all. I'm not rich, just thankful for Ron and y'all. I appreciate that, my friend. He says, he just gave us, JB Map just gave us another $7.77 chat, super chat. This is my favorite stream. I even go as far as calling all of you family. Ron deserves so much for all of his efforts. It is so sad that Ron is attacked. Yes, this channel is attacked. I've been spiritually attacked as well. As some of you know, nearly 2 years ago, this coming January, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm still fighting that. I'm supposed to be getting another shot, and I don't even have money to do that. I just got a letter from my doctor's office. saying it's going to be costing at least It's going to cost at least $206.44. This would be due the day of your appointment unless other financial arrangements have been made. Please reach out to us prior to your appointment if you wish to set up a payment arrangement. If we do not hear from you, we will assume you'll come to your appointment with your payment responsibility. I don't have it. I'm probably going to have to postpone it again. Please keep in mind that this is only an estimate. It's not a guarantee of benefits or payment. Okay? Last time it was $225. I appreciate all of you who supported me in getting that shot this last time. I'm due another shot next week. I'm probably going to have to postpone it. But folks, I'm hoping the cancer will stay at bay. The shot I'm supposed to be getting is supposed to help keep it at bay. Okay? If I can get another 3 shots, I'll be home free. Literally. Okay? They say once I've gone 3 years, it's highly likely that I will be in a remission for the rest of my life. That's what I'm counting on. Fantasy Dog just gave us another $10 super chat. He says, no words, just love. Thank you so much, Fantasy Dog. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. God bless all of you who support us like you do. It means the world to me. It really does. You guys are awesome. His sword says, crap, I'm late. I'm sorry you're late. Okay? You can go back and listen to this program. That's the other good thing is when we put up these live programs, they're still here on YouTube, so you can go back and take a look at them. Okay? Don Patoka says, if you don't have the dollars, space, or time, please realize the homeless know what new normal means only too well. Improvise, improvise, improvise. That is the byword, improvise. Okay? I thank all of you for what you do for me. I thank all of you, and I thank the Lord that I'm able to give you the information you need to be able to get through what's going on. I know life has not been easy for me or you. It never is. Please, before you go tonight, please be sure you give us a thumbs up if you appreciate this program. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Also, folks, I want to remind you this. If you're only here for 10 or 15 minutes of this program, you're missing the rest of the program. It does you no good if you miss the program. One of the analytical factors YouTube uses to decide whether they're going to let anybody else here on YouTube see this program is the amount of time that all of you watch this program. The average watch time is around 22 to 24 minutes. Sometimes it goes down to 10 or 12 minutes. If you're here 10 or 12 minutes, you might as well not even be here. This program is for informational awareness purposes, to help keep you alive before, during, and after an emergency. That's why we talk about everything that we do. Yes, primarily we do talk about earthquakes, but we talk about everything as well. Now, here on the East Coast, we are in a cold snap. At night, we've gotten down to temperatures last night in the upper teens. Yes, it got up into the 50s during the day, but tonight it's going to be back down in the 20s, below freezing. What I'm talking about in Celsius is -7 degrees, -8 degrees Celsius. That's cold. That is cold. A lot of people are going to be cold, okay? All over the United States and all over the world. I'm asking you to prepare now for the winter if you haven't already. Make sure you have your coats, your jackets, and make sure you have good warm clothes. Okay? Make sure you have good warm clothes. That is a necessity. Okay? Now, I'm going to let you go. It's a Friday night. For a lot of people, it's date night. And I know I interrupt date night with this program. NanoGap is here. Good to see you, NanoGap. God bless you. We appreciate you here. Folks, I want to leave you with some inspiration. I spent a good long time trying to find something that I could tell you about that could also help you spiritually. What I came up with was this. It's very simple. Short, sweet, and to the point. In Matthew 5, verses 14 and 16, it says, "Ye are the light of the world." I am the light, Jesus said. I am the light that shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. Ye are the light of the world, verses 14 and 16. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. That means how hard it tries. No matter how hard it tries, the darkness cannot put out the light. Neither do men put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. The Lord goes on to teach us a great principle. Be ye like the light unto the world, even like Jesus Christ. Help your fellow men. Help your fellow men. This means no matter how hard it goes, darkness can't be put out that light, ever. You can trust that Christ's light will be there for you. Why is Jesus Christ called the light of the world? He said, I am the light of the world. Now, we can't see into our future. We don't sometimes even know the direction or the destination our life is going to take. But Jesus can. Like the lighthouses that guide the ships, Jesus Christ directs us towards God's light. Let the light of Christ guide us through everything in our lives. If we will but let Christ guide us through the Holy Ghost. Brothers and sisters, I know this to be true. I know this to be true. I have great evidence of this being true throughout my life. Missoula Boat Ride just gave us another $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that. God bless you. I really, really do appreciate that. It means the world to me, all of you guys that support this channel. Rob52 said, go over to 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. So let's go over to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Okay? I've had a great many conversations with Rob. I've had a great many conversations with Dawn and a great many of you. When you guys ask me to do something, I go and do it. Over in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, it said, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Rob, that was perfect. That was perfect. I appreciate each and every one of you. You are why I am here. I appreciate all of you who gave us super chats, and I appreciate all of you who may go to our PayPal and our Venmo locations to help support us this night. God bless you. God bless you, and may God be with you always. God be with you until we meet again. Thank you all for being here. Please share this program far and wide with all your family, your extended family, your neighbors, your friends, your social media contacts, and even the people you work with. Everybody needs to hear this program. Everybody needs to hear this program. Thank you guys. I love you all. Heather says, salute you, sir. I also salute you too. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And thank you for your tenderness. It is very much needed and very much appreciated. Have a great night, folks. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back here on the air with you to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. We do that all the time. Have a good night, guys. The next time we will come on the air is Sunday at 12 noon or just thereafter with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Sunday, day after tomorrow, will be in Revelations chapter 1 through 5. Revelations chapters 1 through 5. Have a great night, guys. Take care. God be with you until we meet again. Good night, everybody. I love you. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your weekend and be safe.